Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, Delta Force has really been sending out a ton of news on Twitter. So this is going to be a roundup video of every new thing they've said so far. This has to do with the extraction mode and with the battlefield mode, as well as just some community general statements they made, reassuring people about certain things they're worried about. Okay, so let's get into the video. Friendly reminder, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button. It helps the channel out more than you could imagine. Also, subscribe to the channel as I post content regularly and stream every single day, not only on this YouTube channel, but I also have a Twitch. And if you're interested in fragrance-related content, first link in the description. I just posted my 5th fragrance video on that channel. Some of the things I mentioned in this video, maybe a lot of you have already heard, but this video is meant to be a big roundup, and it's kind of meant for people that maybe haven't heard all of this news, so I'm just putting it all in one place. Let's get the big one out of the way first. They did confirm that they completely removed AI from the Battlefield game mode they call Havoc Warfare. So for people that were worried about playing against AI on the full release of the game upon December 5th, don't worry, they did confirm that they did remove AI. For people wondering about content, they did also mention some maps. They're bringing back some classic maps from Delta Force, namely Trench Line. This really does look like a Battlefield 1-esque map with all the trenches dug out. They also mentioned Threshold, which I believe we've already seen, Shafted, Cracked, and Ascension. When Delta Force releases, you can expect a large update every single 3 months, not only for the Battlefield mode, but also for the Extraction Shooter mode. But these also have different content timelines, which we'll take a look at right now. For the Battlefield mode, you can expect a big patch every 3 months that includes one new playable operator, one new Havoc Warfare map, new game modes, vehicles, and weapons, but also every year, they add a completely new mode to the game. And this isn't referring to a completely new game mode such as Team Deathmatch or Domination. This is referring to a completely separate added section to the game, and the speculation around this right now is that this is supposedly a Battle Royale. So if that's true, this will not only have a Battlefield mode, it'll have an Extraction Shooter and a Battle Royale, which is pretty crazy. Shifting gears to the Extraction Shooter, and I've had a change of heart on the Extraction Shooter. I do think I'm going to actually try to play it because, I mean, why would I ignore half of the game? But anyway, they announced new content and just a timeline for the content for the Extraction Shooter today, and it does coincide with the Battlefield content. So every 3 months, there's going to be a big patch that addresses both the Battlefield mode and the Extraction Shooter mode, but there will be little patches there in between those big patches. The Extraction Shooter content includes a new map and mini modes, of course, regular quality of life updates and balance adjustments. And here's a really bold one. Apparently they're going to be doing a major annual update, and they're going to try to unify operations maps to be like an open world experience. Really interesting, not really sure how that's going to play out, and I will be very interested to see how it is when it actually happens. Moving away from the Extraction Shooter and the Battlefield mode to more general concerns surrounding the game, which they addressed yet again today, they emphasized there will be no pay-to-win mechanics, no currency selling. They emphasized they're going to be listening to community-focused feedback. They emphasized that they're going to try to make the game run on a wide range of hardware, and they emphasize optimization. And they state yet again there's going to be a zero-tolerance policy for cheating. So overall, just very positive messaging across the board. Delta Force's developers have done really a phenomenal job at communicating with their community even before the game releases, which is something I would love to see more from other developers. And on top of that, they actually seem to be listening to feedback and then implementing the changes people are asking for, which is rarer in gaming than it should be. So let's take a big overview of how Delta Force is looking right now. First of all, the game is free to play, which is absolutely phenomenal. And not only is it free to play, it's going to be free to play with crossplay. So the player base for this game, if it's very successful, could be absolutely massive. Combine that with the fact that they're executing a Battlefield mode and an Extraction Shooter in the same title with a potential Battle Royale on the way. Dude, like, this game is going after everybody. But that isn't even the end of it. Like, this is a very positive looking game. The developers are communicating so well. They already fixed one of the biggest issues with the game before it even releases, which is the removal of AI. They are very responsive on all of their socials, not only to big content creators, but to everyone that asks a reasonable question. They will respond to you on Twitter, on the official account. And then you take a look at the quality and amount of content this game is expected to receive. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this game is supposed to have 5 Battlefield mode maps available on launch, with more maps being added, of course, after. And then on top of that, the extraction shooter is going to have, I think, 2 to 3 maps with map changes, and then that big annual update where they're focusing on unifying all the maps into something crazy open world. And then just the quality of everything. Like, I really enjoy how there aren't many bugs in the game. It's a really solid, well-optimized video game, and we haven't had many of those, ladies and gentlemen. So many things in this game are quality of life improvements over what we've already been playing. The game has a fully fledged practice mode where you can test so many of your weapons mechanics. The weapon customization is super in-depth and allows for a variety of playstyles with any weapon you pick up, and it doesn't really seem like there's one super defined meta. You can get away with other combinations if you just want your weapon to look cool. And there are many other positive aspects of this game that I could cover, but I do want to touch on some legitimate concerns that I see from the community as well. A lot of people critique this game for being a copy of other games, namely Battlefield 2042. Some people complain that they copied some Call of Duty elements. And while I definitely understand those concerns, I am very interested to see the reaction to this game when it releases, because remember, the game is free, higher quality than the past 2 Battlefields. And even if some aspects of the game are very similar, the game doesn't play really anything like Battlefield 2042. And as you can see, the background gameplay for this video is Battlefield 2042. You can take my opinion as fact here, ladies and gentlemen. You really can. Delta Force does not play anything like Battlefield 2042. It really doesn't. And I think once people get their hands on the game and they play the Battlefield mode, they will see what I'm talking about. Delta Force is a much more measured, sort of a slower, more angle-based experience, whereas in 2042, you can get away with, so many crazy things, jumping everywhere and grapple hooking and sliding and all that sort of thing. So overall, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, things are looking really good for Delta Force, and I'm highly anticipating the game's launch, to be honest. I'm not really, trying not to get my hopes up too much, trying not to completely invest everything into the game, but I do think it's looking like the best game that is released in a very, very long time, and I am excited to see how people react to its launch. Unfortunately, the console version of the game is not going to be out until, I think they said, Q1 2025. So the PC version is going to be out for a couple months before console players get their hands on it, which will absolutely have a negative effect on the game. But it isn't like they're delaying the game a full year for consoles. I think ultimately it's not going to matter too much, and they were very transparent on that communication when it comes to the console version. They did say that this is the very first console game they've ever made, so they're taking the necessary attention to detail that it requires, which is commendable. So that is going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel out so much. Thank you for doing that. Let me know what you're most anticipating for Delta Force. Do you want to play the Battlefield mode, the extraction shooter? How many of you guys are going to play both? And let me know, console players in particular, what do you think about not being able to play the game on December 5th and basically having to watch PC players play it? Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.